Welcome to the second part of our discussion on the research paper and APA basics. If you would like to study more about the basics of APA, you can visit these sites, alpurdue.edu or scribber.com. This is where all the references here have been based on. So let's go ahead and review the basics of APA. APA Style 7th edition, that's the format and style that we are using. So throughout your paper, you need to apply the following APA format guidelines. First, set page margins to 1 inch on all sides. Double space all text, including your headings. Indent the first line of every paragraph 1/2 inch. Use an accessible font, for example, Times New Roman 12 point. That is actually what we are using. APA suggests several fonts, but I specifically suggest Times New Roman. Include a page number on every page. For your in-text citation, in case you're wondering what they are, in-text citations are brief references in the running text that direct readers to the reference entry which is found at the end of your paper. You include them every time you quote or paraphrase someone else's ideas or words. An APA in-text citation consists of the author's last name and the year of publication, which is also known as the author date system. If you're citing a specific part of a source, you should also include a locator such as a page number or timestamp. Page number, for example, Smith, 2020, P period, page 170. So that means that the direct quote is found on page 170. Timestamp is mainly used for videos. Exactly which time frame have you heard that? Parenthetical versus narrative citation. So what should you use in your in-text citation? You can choose between the two because in-text citation can take two forms, parenthetical or narrative. In your parenthetical citation, from the word parentheses, your author and year are placed inside the parentheses, as what you can see here, Smith, year. However, in narrative, it's included in your sentence. So, for example, Smith is part of the sentence, but of course, the year will always be inside the parentheses. And the year always follows the author, but if you're using or you use a direct quote, the page number is always found at the end of the quote. What about the authors? The in-text citation changes slightly when a source has multiple authors or an organization as an author. Please pay attention to punctuation and the use of the ampersand, the and symbol. So for example, if you have the author type here, if you have one author, this is your parenthetical citation, as what I've mentioned earlier. If you have two authors, you have the last name, ampersand, another last name, comma, and the year. Okay, but if it's narrative citation, you don't need to use ampersand. If it's outside the parentheses, you use the actual word and. If you have three or more authors, we only use the first author recorded, then the phrase et al. Et al, et, space, al, period, comma. For organization, you just replace the author's place or space with the organization. What about if you have missing information? So when the author, publication date, or locator is unknown, take the steps outlined below. So if the author is missing, use the source title. Okay? Format the title in the same way as in the corresponding reference entry. So if you have the reference list at the back, the way we format it there, that's the same thing that you use for your in-text citation, either italicized, usually that's in the title of books, Or if the title in the reference entry is not italicized, place it in quotation mark. And you always have to use title case capitalization. If the date is missing, then you use ND, which represents for no date. This is the example there. If the page number is missing, you can use an alternative locator. Here the example states the chapter, but you may also use, especially for online articles, and you can find the page, then you can use the paragraph number. So for paragraph, instead of P, you use P-A-R-A period, para period, and then the number. How do we do direct quotes in APA? There are three main rules for quoting in APA style. If the quote is under 40 words, place it in double quotation marks. If the quote is 40 words or more, format it as a block quote, meaning it's indented 1/2 inch in the left, and you place the period, no more quotation mark. Then you cite the author, year, and page number with an in-text citation. So this is an example. According to a recent paper, this is your quote. Your direct quote begins here. You have, since it's less than 40 words, you use double quotation marks. Quotes can be useful in academic writing. This is the end of the quote, so double quotation mark. Then you have the author. It's 3 or more authors, so et al. Is used with the year and with the page number. Page number is always there, or paragraph number, or even the chapter if you use a direct quote. How do you write the reference list? On the reference page, that is the last page, you list all the sources that you've cited throughout your paper. On the first line of the page, write the section label References in bold and centered. On the second line, start listing your references in alphabetical order. So based on the last name of the author or family name of the author, you arrange them based on the entry. Okay, not within the entry, but based on the entry. Here's the example in a bit. Apply this formatting guidelines to the APA reference page. Double spacing within and between references. Hanging indent of 1/2 inch. Legible font Times New Roman, 12 point again. Page number in the top right header. Although for some they just say double space and then single space within an entry. But to avoid confusion, we just use double spacing all throughout. So just basic formats. I'll just discuss books and journals. If you have other references, please check out the site that I have mentioned earlier in the first part of this presentation. So you have the author, comma, initials, year of publication inside the parentheses, period, the title of work, and if there's a subtitle, then you use a colon. Okay, then the publisher. If there's still a DOI or if it's available, please indicate. So for example, Stoneman, that's the author, comma, initial. If only one first name is available, just one initial. If there's middle name, then give the initial of the middle name. You have the year, the title in sentence case. When we say sentence case, it means that we only capitalize the first letter and whichever proper noun. So since the great is a proper noun, you have their capital, but for the subtitle, it's only the A that is capitalized. Life in legend. So a life in legend. It's not a proper noun anymore. Yale University Press is the publisher. What about for journals? It's the same thing, except for journals, you have the title of the article and the name of the journal. So the title of the article is sentence case, but the title of the journal or periodical is title case. Then you give the volume number and the issue number and the pages. Again, if DOI is available, you include that as well. So for example, this last name, and then the year, and then the title of the article, the title of the periodical or the journal, volume number is italicized, no space, issue number inside the parentheses. Sometimes there's no issue number if the journal is published yearly, then the page number. Usually if it's online, like this, not this, it's the same thing. And then you just include where it is found. Okay. If possible, we can also remove the highlight, the hyperlinks. So this is an example reference list. Notice they are arranged in alphabetical order. Anderson goes first. If you have two authors, notice after the initials there's comma and then you have the ampersand. So we can list up to, before in the 6th edition it's only up to 7 authors, but now I think we can list more. So okay, so for more information just visit the address that was cited before, OWL, Purdue, or Scribber. Thank you very much for taking time to listen. Just review or do additional searches if you're still unfamiliar with APA format and style. But again, it's assumed that because you're graduates from senior high school, it's something that was already introduced to you and that you have applied before, and we're just reviewing it here in Purposive Communication. Have a great day.